Even though Jalen Hurts wears the number 1 on his jersey, the magic number for his Oklahoma debut was 3. It only took the Sooners 3 plays in their opening drive to score. Hurts threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for 3 touchdowns, and had just 3 incompletions on the night. Shea Patterson coupled with that Michigan defense, that's going to be a tough feat for the Buckeyes for sure. Rodgers back in the state Final Four for the first time since 2015, and the Rams were ready for this one. The nice part about getting those draft picks, it's that two-edged sword of you can trade those off or you can take advantage of it to rebuild your program. Coach Tomich told me before the game, serve and serve receive. That's what paces her blocking game as far as defense, and that also paces the offense. The Energy are getting ready to host Phoenix tomorrow night at 8 for one player. Saturday's game will be a little extra special. He might tone it down as he gets older, but at the end of the day, it's kind of one of those where, you know, if I have a teammate who requests a trade, doesn't want to be here, I kind of don't blame Baker for saying that, because if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. If you're not going to put your full effort into this team, then don't be here. And I feel like if you're going to vocalize you want to be traded, I can vocalize back how I feel about that, because I'm the quarterback of this team. And it was kind of no secret, in my opinion, that Duke Johnson would request the trade, because he was that guy on the outside looking in. When you get Kareem Hunt added to your backfield and you already had Nick Chubb, you are that guy on the outside looking in, and then they add OBJ. I mean, where does he really fit in?
I thought, you know, today is a really nice day. It's a kind of a fall day. I'm going to go out and play. And I just remember thinking, wow, the grass is so green, you know, our course is looking nice. And that's the last thing I remember.
That was the last time Monty Elam would ever see those vivid details of the golf course. The next day, Monty went in for routine eye surgery, but coming out of recovery, this is all he saw.
At first, you know, I knew that my eyes were going to be covered. I knew that I wasn't going to really be able to see very well just because of the surgery. Again, things I was told was routine, everything that was happening was routine. Well, it never got better.
Monty's vision never restored, leaving him completely blind.
And that's kind of when the emotions kick in of, well, what's going to happen from here? And then you realize, well, this may be permanent.
With this, Monty had to step away from Blackberry Patch, the course in Michigan he owned and operated. And 6 months later, after multiple surgeries and procedures, Cleveland Clinic doctors were able to partially restore sight in Monty's left eye. This is what he sees now.
As far as day-to-day living, it was a big adjustment. I mean, and you don't think about it till it actually happens. I mean, from just walking down the hallway, preparing food, getting dressed, I mean, just everything you take for granted on everyday life, you know, it changes.
At first, Monty was told he wouldn't be able to golf or work at a course again, but he didn't let that stop him.
I was very upset. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, because I had been in the golf business for a long time and really loved it. But as time went on, I realized, you know, I can do it. You know, just move forward with it, and that's what I've done.
Adjusting to his new normal, Monty not only got a job working at Whiteford Valley Golf Club, but he also got back to playing the game he loves. But it hasn't been easy.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. That was probably the most frustrating thing, because obviously I went from a level of being able to play competitively to a level where I'm kind of just hoping to hit the ball.
Although often frustrated, Monty is not defeated. His experience has propelled him to be a beacon of hope for others, proving there are options other than quitting on life.
Never give up. I mean, that's a cliche, but never give up. And I never thought about giving up. So, I mean, I didn't look at it as a disability, and I just kept moving forward.
Now, Monty also works with golfers who have disabilities, and that work is being recognized by the PGA. He will fly out to Palm Springs next week to receive the Deacon Palmer Award.
Way to go. Quite inspiring.
Yes, it is very inspiring. All those challenges, and he's just overcoming them.
Yeah, he's definitely an inspiration. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met, too. And the golf game for him is all muscle memory now. I asked, if you can't see very far, how are you golfing? So for him, it's all muscle memory at this point. He just knows that wherever he puts his club, there is an object in front of there to hit.
True definition of not giving up.
Yeah,
Danielle,
that's so
thank
neat.
you.
When I finally woke up, after my accident in the hospital, I remember the first person I saw was my husband. First thing that came out of my mouth was, "It's okay if you want to leave." I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed. My life wasn't the same. I was now a double above knee amputee. I just didn't know how I was going to continue on. I didn't know how I was going to live life. I didn't want to be where I was. I went into a deep depression and I stayed in a very, very dark place for a long time.
For nearly 10 years, Yvonne Yanes struggled with these feelings. She felt confined to her wheelchair, but that all changed with a promise she made to her dying father.
I made the promise to attend the double above knee boot camp. My dad passed away June 20th of 2015, and that's when I got up and left the wheelchair for good.
Since then, Yvonne has gotten involved in adaptive sports, swimming being her sport of choice.
I started getting into a pool, and I really liked it. And then I told myself, if I'm going to be in this pool, I might as well compete.
This is Yvonne's third year competing in the Endeavor Games, and with each competition comes a reminder of just how far she's come.
Going back 13 years ago, I would have never thought that I would be where I am today. I would have never thought. But today, I don't see life as depressing anymore. I see life as beautiful. And I see it as I've been given a second chance. And I need to make the best of that second chance.
Though Yvonne still has fond memories of her life before the accident, she continues to embrace her new normal.
The life I have now, I would say, is just as great, if not greater, because of the challenges that I've had to overcome.
While her father died before she started walking, swimming, and competing, Yvonne knows he's not far away.
I would hope that he would be proud of me. He never did really live to see me walking, but I know that he's watching from up above, and I just hope that I'm making him proud.
After dropping 3 straight, the Thunder have won 3 of their last 4 tonight. They're back inside the Peak as they play host to the Pacers. Oklahoma City looking for the season equalizer against Indiana. The Thunder jump out to an early lead. In transition, Chris Paul lobs it to Steven Adams and the big man slams it home. He led the way in the first half and finished with a team-high 20. Dennis Schroeder with another hot hand tonight, drives and sinks the floater here. He had 18 off the bench. Thunder come out of the half with a 1-point lead. This Danilo Gallinari triple extends that, 3 of his 18. OKC loses the lead though in the fourth, but the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 3 cuts the deficit to 1. He had 16 on the night. Now this goes down to the wire, but the Thunder come up short, 107-100. They're back home Friday against the Timberwolves before their 4-game Western road trip. Oklahoma getting set for its Big 12 championship game against Baylor. The Sooners going for their 5th straight conference title ahead of championship Saturday. The Big 12 announcing its all-conference teams and a slew of Sooners and Cowboys being named. We'll get to the Pokes in just a bit. For OU, one of the guys taking home some honors is Sooner quarterback Jalen Hurts. In his lone year with Oklahoma, the Alabama transfer has set career highs in passing yards with over 3,300. Rushing yards with more than 1,200 and scoring 49 touchdowns. Prior to Saturday's Bedlam game, ball security had been an issue for Hurts. Costly fumbles and interceptions, including 2 in the first half of the Baylor game. When looking back at that historic comeback win over the Bears, Hurts' biggest takeaway is taking care of business.
The importance of execution, not really something I learned, something I knew, just something that we had lack of. So we just got to execute. I think that the story of the whole entire season has been how well can we go out there and do our jobs with the right focus and intensity, just going out there and doing it.
In addition to Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Kenneth Murray, and Creed Humphrey were named to the All-Big 12 first team. Humphrey was also co-offensive lineman of the year, and LaRon Stokes was defensive newcomer of the year. 7 more Sooners were named All-Big 12 second team. The Pokes also getting some big recognition in the conference. Chuba Hubbard earning not only first-team honors, but also Offensive Player of the Year. The Oklahoma State star running back led the nation in rushing, having over 1,900 yards and 21 touchdowns. Hubbard is also a finalist for the Doak Walker Award and is a Heisman candidate. Quarterback Spencer Sanders was named Offensive Freshman of the Year after throwing for over 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. In addition to Hubbard and Sanders, Colby Harville-Peel was named Defensive First Team, and 3 other Pokes received Second Team honors. Switching to the other style of football, the Energy announcing their new head coach today, and it's someone who's no stranger to Oklahoma City. John Pascarella is coming in as the club's 3rd coach in the past 7 years. Prior to OKC, Pascarella was an assistant coach with Minnesota United, managed the Des Moines Menace, and was an assistant and goalkeeper coach at Sporting Kansas City for 8 years, winning the MLS Cup in 2013 and the U.S. Open Cup in 2012 and 2015. Besides his excitement to return to Oklahoma City, he says his previous scouting experience will help build upon the foundation set by former head coach Steve Cook and the rest of the organization.
The last 10 out of 11 years being involved in Major League Soccer, one of my responsibilities, both in Kansas City and in Minnesota, was the college draft and the USL. It was all of the domestic scouting. So I know the player pool pretty well in the USL. I know the players in MLS that may drop and be able to play in the USL, and the kids that are in college that are coming up and through the ranks now. So that, I think, is one of the bigger assets that I have.
High school football state championship games going on at UCO the next 2 weekends. This Saturday, a powerhouse matchup between 2 local teams. Bishop McGuinness and Carl Albert meet for the 2nd time this season, this time with a state title on the line. The first time the Irish and Titans collided, it was the final game of the regular season, and it was for the district title. Carl Albert won that game in shutout fashion, 40-0 the final. While the Titans are going for their 4th consecutive state championship, the Irish are hoping 3rd time is a charm to bring home the hardware, and each team knows the challenge at hand.
Ultimately, is their defense. You know, they're phenomenal. They have great athletes all over the field. They play very sound defense. They're physical, they're downhill, and just they do not allow a lot of points. So, I mean, that's going to be the test is, you know, can we break down that defense and, you know, put some points on the board.
That's in the past. That's what I've told our guys. We got to be ready to play because they got all their guys and they're going to be ready. So we've got to do a great job preparing this week.
Should be an exciting game. We'll have full coverage of that one. The 2 kickoff in the Class 5A state title game Saturday at 3:30.